want to see if the people can actually see us. Oh, they can. Great. We're live. Fuck yes. Okay, how to get girls who are out of your league. We've had such a good day today, so we thought we would cap it off with a live stream for you, which is dedicated to how you can get girls who you traditionally would have thought, nah, she's too good for me, I'm not worthy, etc., etc., etc. We need a light?
I figure when you start, no?
Fine.
It'll start getting going.
So yeah, we're going to dedicate this live stream to helping you basically get the girls that you want, but thinking, oh no, wait, she's too good for me. So I'm with somebody today who is a certified expert in this field. So after pulling an Instagram model, video pending soon. The video will be out loud very, very soon. So we wanted to make this video for you to just help you get over your self-limiting beliefs. Whenever you see a girl who you think, oh no, wait, she's too good for me, we want to help you overcome that self-limiting belief so you can actually get the girls that you want rather than settling for the ones that you think you can get. So for you in your journey so far, obviously you've been cold approaching now for less than a year, and you've been able to get girls who traditionally you thought, oh, I would never be able to get her. So I think it would be good to start off with your overall mindset. Like what do you think now going in for those approaches where you think, oh, she's probably like too far up the social ladder? Like what do you think for those girls?
So previous I couldn't approach any girl, but I realized pretty early on that like I thought what would happen is I would start going in for approaches for girls that I wasn't actually that attracted to, just to like warm myself up. But early on I realized like I wasn't really getting much from that, so I just went straight to going in for the ones that I was truly scared of, like the top of the line girls that I was attracted to. One of the reasons is that they can feel your attraction. So like when I would go up to girls that I wasn't actually that attracted to, but I just wanted to build the skill, then it was just kind of like I was there just to be there. Like there wasn't actually, they could kind of feel the attraction on you if you really like them. So yeah, we had an interesting experience in Paphos where I'll tell the full story. So we're walking down one of the main streets that we typically were going down, and in the distance, I didn't even see her face, but from the back, this girl looked amazing. She had this long curly blonde hair, and I was like, all right, I like her already. So she crossed the street over to our side. I ran up, I did my approach, and so this is prior to me knowing kind of like who she was and what she did for work. And I treated her like I treat every other girl that I approach, which is, hey, I'm attracted to you, I saw you, I don't know who the hell you are, I don't know what you're about, you don't know me, but I saw you, I had to come over, and I didn't want to lose the opportunity to come and say hi. And she felt it, right? She felt that immediate attraction there where I was like, I like the way you look, I don't know anything else about you, but that's enough to start. And I was in conversation with this girl for like 6-7 minutes, and it was like pretty much every other approach that I've done, where when the girl is engaged and talks to me, like we were just getting to know each other for a brief moment, and we were trying to set up a date afterwards. Funny enough, she asked me out like that day, but I had a different date lined up that day, so I was like, oh, I have work today, like maybe tomorrow, let's go for dinner tomorrow. And like all of this is pretty normal for me at this point. And then I go to follow her on Instagram. She's like, yeah, let's exchange Instagrams. I go to follow her on Instagram, and turns out the girl has 70,000 followers, 70,000 followers on Instagram. And we were talking about this today. It's weird because before I knew that, I felt like this is just every other girl that's pretty that I've gone up to and approached. And then as soon as I saw the follower count, it's like that, the feeling of inadequacy started creeping back into my head. And I was like, like, am I actually worthy enough to go on a date with this girl? I can't believe this girl is interested in me when she has 70,000 other guys following her. But the coolest part about this interaction is that what basically happened was I got to skip the line. So let's just say half of her, we'll be conservative here. Let's say half of her followers were guys, and half of those followers actually had the courage to DM her. We're still talking like upwards of 15,000 DMs that she's probably able to sift through. The majority she probably ignores. She probably has that 999 plus on her DMs. And the coolest part about the interaction is that I literally, because I was the only guy that was willing to close my phone and actually like work up the courage to go up to her in person, I was able to get her number and I was able to get a date secured, again, video pending soon, with a girl that prior to ever having this skill set, I thought was way out of my league. And she's now, we were talking about this, she's like watching my stories now. Like it's funny how the dynamic switches. So all this to say that before having this skill set, I never thought I'd be able to attract a quote unquote Instagram model. Like I always thought that those girls were kind of like up in the ether and no guy ever actually had access to them unless they were that archetype that we talked about, that NBA 6'5" archetype. That those are the guys that I thought those girls would go after. And maybe that's the case, but I'm able to even the playing field with this skill set, because even though I don't have those typical characteristics that maybe she'd usually go for, I had the courage. Like what I lacked in stature, I made up for in courage and confidence. And that was the point. So, and another interesting point is that I think if I had known her follower count prior to going in for the approach, I definitely still would have gone in, but I don't think I would have had nearly as much confidence when I went in, because I went in thinking, this is a blank slate. She's just another cute girl like every other cute girl that I've approached. But yeah, as soon as I saw like the follower count, it's like, yeah, I started feeling like, geez, I don't know if I'm worthy enough. I don't know if I have what it takes to go out with this girl. But yeah, I was able to prove myself wrong, which that was the most important part. So yeah, very cool experience to have pulled a girl that I thought previously, even 2 weeks ago, I thought was like way out of my league. So this is just me breaking another barrier. So now I see a girl and I'm like, wow, I think she's like truly a model. I'm still going in for it. Worst case scenario, she rejects me like every other girl that's rejected me. But in this scenario, the girl with the 70,000 followers was attracted to me just like I was attracted to her. And what I learned also is that it's just a number on a screen. Like we might assign value to that number, but like when all is said and done, she's just a girl with followers. She's just a girl with a large number on a screen, but she's still just a girl, right? Like she still loves the feeling of somebody actually like having the courage to come up and talk to her. It probably more so actually, because I'm sure a lot of guys see her and they go like, wow, like she's way too hot for me to go up to her and do anything. So I'm just gonna send her a DM on Instagram. So yeah, very, very cool experience. Again, video pending, but yeah, that was a great approach for me. It definitely helped me break through some barriers. So
yeah, I think that's what we were discussing, how day game is the ultimate equalizer.
Yeah.
So like you can basically go over to a girl who you find attractive during the day, and it's basically a cheat code into that girl's reality, which I think is just like an amazing thing about daytime cold approach. Like you just bypass all of the bullshit and you can go straight to the source. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying, like she's probably got like 999 plus DMs.
Yeah.
Like if you're that guy who has the balls to go over to her, then this whole like, oh, she's out of my league, it really just like all dissipates into the distance. Like there is no leagues on the streets because she's basically your equal. Like the majority of guys are just DMing her, getting nowhere. But if you've actually got the skill set to just go straight to the source, it really does set you apart. And obviously you're going to post a video soon on your channel where you not only approached the girl, had a conversation, got the clothes, but then you also ended up on a date with a girl who's got like 70,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And like most guys are never going to get a date with that girl. Even if you're on Tinder, even if you're on dating apps, even if you're trying to like DM her on Instagram, like very few guys are actually getting that date. So like maybe I think what would be useful is like in terms of the overall mindset that you had going in there, like do you think there's anything practical or valuable like you could give to the guys? Maybe they really want to get the girls that they want rather than settling for the ones that they think they can get. Yeah. Do you think there's anything specific about maybe your overall mindset or the things that you were doing which enabled you to actually pull this date off?
Yeah, there were a couple, like we kind of pre-gamed, we call it. So basically on this particular day, my very first approach of the day turned out to be an instant date. And Kristian was kind of following me around with a GoPro. I approached some girl on the stairway. It was a super bold approach. So like I started the day up here. And then the approach directly after that was a girl that I ran up to before she got into her car. And same thing, like we were able to have a great conversation. I ended up going on a date with that girl a couple of days ago, but at the time I got her phone number, and so I was 2 for 2 at this point. And so we were just walking down the street, and this is an approach I typically don't do. I see the girl from behind, she's kind of crossing the street in the distance. But because I had so much positive momentum already built up, I was like, why would I not go in for this one? The worst case scenario, I get blown out, which is always going to be the worst case scenario. So, and something I'll highlight here is we were talking about this earlier today. It's less about how objectively attractive you are, and it's more about how attractive you think that you are. And that truly does get conveyed to the girl in conversation. So because I had 2 wins under my belt, I had 2 numbers under my belt, I was feeling like the shit. So even though typically I would see this girl and I would second guess myself, because I would go in for the approach anyways, but I would second guess myself because she was top tier as far as attractiveness. Because I had a few wins under my belt, and because I saw myself as already having been validated by 2 other girls on that day, that's what she felt. I was kind of like offloading that feeling of confidence onto her. So even if you were looking at this from a third party perspective and you're going like, who is this fucking average guy talking to this drop dead gorgeous girl? That's not what she felt. What she felt was me feeling like the man, feeling like the shit. We had already done our sprints for the day. And I go right in there and I don't mention anything about that, right? I deliver the compliment, but I don't talk about the discrepancy in attractiveness. I don't talk about or convey in any of my nonverbal cues. I'm not saying like, wow, I think you're up here and I think I'm down here. If anything, I'm conveying the opposite. I'm going, wow, you're beautiful, but like, I'm hyper confident. Like, I will come up to whoever that I find attractive. Even on the date, we were talking about this, where she's like, yeah, like people, they don't usually do this. Usually the best I get is beeps. Like people will drive by, they'll like the way she looks and they'll honk at her as if to say like, wow, you're cute. But who has the balls to drop everything and literally just run after the girl and go like, look, I saw you. I know this is not typical, but like, oh my God, I could not miss the opportunity to come talk to you. And it's the assumed attractiveness. Like, that's what she was feeling from me. Is like, I got in front of her and she was on her phone at first. And I'm like, look, I know she's gonna drop her phone because I'm Ephraim, right? Like, I've proven to myself that girls are interested in me. I've also proven to myself that although the majority of girls reject me, I'm still gonna go in, regardless of my results. And so that's exactly what she felt. And that's the hyper confidence that we're talking about. Was like, I was like, fuck it, I'm still gonna go in. I'm still gonna go and talk to this girl. And because I was so confident in myself, I was so natural in conversation, I was so non-needy. At one point she started walking away from me and I turned around, I'm like, where are you going? She's like, oh, I'm walking home like I told you. I'm like, wait, but don't go yet. She's like, what do you want? I'm like, well, I want you, I want your name, I want your number, I want to date with you. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like, it's almost like I was playing the asshole role, but I was being so genuine, right? Like, I'd already done the hard part, which is going up, getting her to stop and engage with me. So if she's gonna start walking away, then I'm just gonna show my cards. And that's exactly what I did. And that got her super invested into me to where now she started asking me questions because I was so direct about it, right? It wasn't like, yeah, I came up to you and I kind of want directions and also you're kind of cute. No, it was like, the only reason that I'm standing here right now is because all of these other guys that are in your little hemisphere that want to talk to you, they're not willing to do anything like this, except me. I am. And that's exactly what she felt from me. So yeah, I'm so hyped that I had that experience because it truly did unlock a different level for me. Like, I go in for all of the approaches anyways, but like, I didn't know that I was worthy of going on a date with a girl that is quote unquote Instagram famous, right? I thought that I would never have access to these kinds of girls, especially being like average height, average weight, average income. I thought like, I have to be somebody super special. But like, the reason we hop on these live streams and we communicate this stuff to you is because we want to share with you that like, it doesn't take anything above average except for confidence and work. Like, if you're willing to put in more work than most guys, then you're really equalizing yourself. Like, you truly are leveling the playing field. So I'm sure there are other guys with 70K that are in her DMs, but like, they're not willing to do the small act, the very difficult but small act of going up and approaching her. And that's what really set the tone for that approach. So yeah, I thought she was out of my league. I proved myself otherwise, which I thought was fucking sick.
Yeah, I think it all comes back to evidence having the loudest voice, and like, I think anybody listening to this live stream, this should give you massive amounts of motivation. It's a whole like, in life, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you think you deserve. And I think that your mindset, thinking that you were worthy and entitled to this girl, was created through a sense of momentum.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's very difficult to just approach a girl like that straight off the bat. But like, as you reference, you'd already had a lot of positive reference experience. Like previously on that day, you'd already approached girls, you'd had instant dates, you'd had good positive reference experience. And this all fed into your overall mindset, because like when you came to approach like the Instagram model, you were already operating from a place of wholeness rather than from a place of lack. Yeah. I think like that's the key. Like momentum leads to the mindset that you are worthy of this girl. Like I think really that is the secret to getting any girl that you want. It's having irrational faith and confidence in your own ability. How do you do that? You just do a lot of approaches. You just demonstrate to yourself that you can do the thing. And then when it comes to actually approaching that girl who you think is quote unquote out of your league, you can just go over to her like any other girl. Like for the sake of using numbers, it's like you're approaching the 10 like she's a 5, because you've got so much experience in the ballpark that it's like, yeah, it's just another girl, it's just another approach. The worst case scenario is she says no thank you. And I think like just that one thing alone will set so many guys free when you realize that you can play the game operating from so much self-adoration that you really can get any girl that you want. I think that's a beautiful thing about daytime cold approach. It lets you just bypass all of the bullshit. Like you don't know that girl you're approaching has got like 70, 100k on Instagram. You're just going straight to the source.
And also, you don't know who or what she's attracted to also. So like prior to going in for an approach like that, I was limiting myself because I was thinking I have to be this height, I have to make this income, I have to have this social proof, I have to have already pulled models in the past to get a girl like this. But we're forgetting that like we can only use our lens to look at the world. But if we think about it from her perspective, maybe she was just wildly attracted to me. Maybe there was something about me that she really liked. Maybe it wasn't even the physical appearance, but maybe it was like the irrational confidence that I had. Like that might be what she was looking for precisely, right? Maybe she has all of the guys that have the physical characteristics that we talk about, but they still don't have that irrational self-confidence in themselves. And she's going, dude, this guy's fucking amazing. Like, why doesn't he have the irrational self-confidence? And then I come along, right? Maybe not the guy that she was exactly imagining, but I'm displaying the characteristics that she was imagining. And that was the difference, in my opinion, there, is maybe she liked the curls, maybe she liked the beard, but in reality, I have no idea what she's attracted to. I just know that whatever I did is what worked. And so that also taught me not to limit myself just based on what I see as shortcomings. I have no idea what she likes. And in that scenario, whatever I had, whatever I could provide was really turning her on. And so that's why I believe I was able to get the date with that. So
yeah, I do think that so many of us are limiting our own potential based off of the stories that we tell ourselves. Like if you're consuming so much content and you think that you have to be a certain race, a certain height, a certain income, then it does really castrate you with your confidence. So like in terms of, imagine there's a guy who's watching this live stream and he's like, do you know what? I just want to go out, right? I want to go out. I want to penetrate the world. I want to just be able to get who I want when I want. Like, because obviously, maybe like just under a year ago, you probably didn't have the mindset that you did now. Like, you didn't have the ability to actually believe in your own sense of, let's say, self-worth.
Yeah.
Like, just for someone who's listening to this, maybe the people who are listening to this, they're low on confidence, they don't think that they can actually attract the things that they want. What do you think would be the best like mindset shift? And like, what do you think that the person who's watching this live stream, what do you think they could do right now to actually go after the girls who they have traditionally thought are out of their league?
Honestly, my best piece of advice here, as uncomfortable as it might be to hear, is less about mindset and more about action. So I don't think that I would have gone in for that girl if I hadn't done 1, 2, 3,000 approaches prior to going up to her. Like the confidence, we talk about this, the confidence is built, the confidence is earned. So there is nothing that I can really say that will like make something snap in your mind. There's no light bulb that's gonna go off where you're like, wow, I really believe in myself. Because that's not how it went for me. I didn't just all of a sudden meet Kristian and now I believed in myself. Sure, he gave me the guardrails. He allowed me to start operating in this sense of self-belief, but the actual belief, the actual confidence came from proving to myself that I was worthy. And the only way that I could do that was by going in for the approaches and getting blown out of the approaches and realizing, wow, I'm still intact. Wow, I can still go in for the next one. Although I got 9, 10, 11 blowouts in a row, maybe the 12th girl will like me. And oftentimes that's what I find, is that it doesn't really matter how many approaches you do or how many numbers you get. Some days I'm 5 for 5, some days I'm 0 for 15. But like that has no implications on the subsequent day. I still get up, I still take my shower, and I still go out for more approaches. And like that is the key. The self-belief was built through that. So for example, the girl that I approached, right, the Instagram model, she has no fucking idea how many approaches I've done before I met her. And in reality, if I had met her as my 3rd approach ever, there wouldn't have been nearly the confidence. There wouldn't have been nearly that sense of entitlement that I had when I went up to her. So like that is what is earned. So there is no real magic pill. There is no sentence that I can feed you that will just like offload my confidence onto you. You need to build that within yourself. The reason why I use myself and my shortcomings and my averageness as the example is to show you that even if you're in a similar place to where I was, there is hope as long as you're willing to actually put in the reps though. That's the asterisk, right? It's like anybody can do this as long as you're willing to put in the work. And that right there, that sentence is the most difficult part of this entire thing. It's getting punched in the face metaphorically by each girl that says no to you, each girl that ignores you, each girl that walks away from you. You finally get the number and then she ghosts you. You finally go on the date, she uses you for a meal. But then you start to realize that, oh, as long as I keep building the skill, as long as I keep going in, then over time, the confidence is built. And this isn't really something that I knew beforehand. This is now me on the other side of the skill, being able to tell this to you. So that's where the value is, right? It's like I can't hand you the confidence, but as somebody who was unconfident, I can share with you that there is another side to this, and it just comes through reps. So that's my best piece of advice there for sure.
Yeah, I think it's always reminding ourselves that belief follows action. There's no shortcuts towards that. Like you do need to go out there and you do need to put the reps in. Like I think there's a lot of people online who are trying to sell this magic bullet formula. Like at some point in your life, you need to go and just jump into the deep end. Like you need to dive bomb into discomfort. And it doesn't just mean dive bombing into discomfort in day game sense. It's just like doing as much as possible that terrifies you on a daily basis. Like the more that you can overcome adversity, whether it's having cold showers, going to the gym, like just doing social activities that terrify you, I think it just you start to develop this bulletproof bravado whereby, oh, she's a hot girl, no problem. I've overcome so many challenges in my life that you almost start to view it as another rep in your tapestry of masculine renaissance. And I think that's the important thing about this. It's like not just viewing day game as a single entity, but everything that you do feeds into this sense of self-adoration that you're doing. And I think like almost a year later since we worked together, I think your sense of self-belief has just gone through the roof. Now you're starting to think to yourself, well, I can do this, I can do anything.
Right.
I think that's the important thing. Like, it's not just like, I'll learn day game to like pick up girls. It's like, how is this going to benefit the rest of my life, you know?
Yeah, no, I feel like the fucking man now. But it was earned. Like, I always have to remind people, like, there's nothing that you can do to shortcut this. There's nothing that I did except go 30 days in a row of approaching as many cute girls as I possibly could with Kristian. And I would come back for feedback and I'd say, here's how the conversation went. Here's what I think I did poorly. Here's where I think I can improve. Kristian was watching me doing each approach, so he's like, look, you were standing you were facing away from her. Look, you weren't being very loud. Look, you stopped her in an awkward way. She was facing the sun. And it was like these little tweaks over time that just built me into a true social weapon when it comes to this stuff. but there was no shortcutting. Like there what the only reason why I had the confidence to go up to an IG model, right? You might be looking at me and going, wow, this guy's amazing. He can go and pull a girl that, yeah, but you're forgetting that the vast majority of approaches that I've done have been girls that just walked straight past me and didn't even look. So like, that's what it takes to get to that point. And that's what nobody wants to share with you. That's what all the YouTube influencers, they show you their wins, they show you the approaches that go well, and they kind of curate this fake persona online that makes it look as though all you have to do is get to a threshold and then rejections kind of just fall away. Like all of a sudden, you get to this point in life where you have so much confidence that every single girl says yes. But that's not the case. These are two people sharing this with you, actually having the skill set and applying the skill set. And all we do is we show you our rejections because we want to make it more realistic for you. Because if you watch only my wins, you see only me getting numbers and going on dates, then the gap gets so big. You go, wow, every approach that I've done, I've gotten blown out of. And every approach that this guy does, he gets the number. That's not the case at all. And that's why I honestly like my rejection reels more than I like my successes, because it shows you the truth of this stuff. And that's why we talk about like, yeah, day game is great. Yeah, getting girls is great. But the actual value here comes from who you're becoming through these reps, through facing your fear, getting punched, facing your fear again, getting punched. And eventually you start to actually find traction with this stuff. And it's who I'm becoming through this. That's like the actual value. We talked about this previously. Now I feel like I can go to any country that I want solo because I have a skill set like this in my back pocket. I feel like I can rock up to any venue and guys are gonna be bigger than me, they're gonna be stronger than me, they're gonna be better looking than me. But in the back of my head, I know that I've got some skill set that none of these guys most likely have, which is if you were to put us in front of a pretty girl and say, go up and make something happen, I'm probably the only one who has the balls to try. That's the skill, right? Like the true skill here is the attempt. It's not the result. That is a byproduct of building the skill. But the actual skill set is having the courage to attempt. And that is all I've learned how to do. I haven't learned how to get girls. I've learned how to attempt. I've learned how to go in for the approach over and over and over again. And as a byproduct of going in for the approach, I am rewarded with girls after a lot of fucking reps. That's the key.
Yeah, I think that's like so valuable. Like, I think if somebody had said that to me when I was first starting, that is worth its weight in gold. Like, the achievement is in the attempt, the pleasure is in the pursuit, and the success is in the showing up, right? If you don't actually live this, and nothing that we've said will actually make any sense to you.
Yeah.
But like, I think just this, we've only been on for about 20 minutes, but like these are like, that's like 20 minutes of life-changing advice.
Yeah.
Like, you can basically be a guy who thinks he can't achieve anything in life, but through using cold approach as the catalyst for the rest of your life, it just wakes you up to the realities of the world. And like, I think it's easy to feel as though you've always arrived, but like, whenever I spend time with people like yourself, like we've been in Cyprus for a month now,
Yeah.
I'm just learning so much. Like, so many of the bullshit paradigms which are installed into us, like, you need to be making this money, you need to be this height, you need to have X, Y, Z, like, you know, you need to have the car, you need to have the body, whatever it is. It's like, this really is like the ultimate equalizer.
Yeah.
If you can just learn the art, because it is an art, if you can learn the art of face-to-face communication,
Yeah.
where you can just deliver yourself to a person without needing anything back in return, like, your entire life just changes. Like, it transforms you as a human being, because like, whilst the rest of your friends are playing like the materialistic trophy game where they have to like stack all these different trophies, it's like, you can just go straight to the source and
Yeah.
get the thing that you want. And I think I do think that's going to save a lot of people's lives, like, who are listening to this. Like, that might sound extreme, but like, there might be people who are watching this and they think that they need to have achieved a certain thing in life in order to make them worthy to approach. It's like, you become worthy once you start approaching.
Yeah.
Like, you become worthy once you actually start to put the reps in. And I think that's just like the ultimate mindset shift. It's like, the more you open, the more you close, and the more you approach, the better that you get. And it's just always having that mindset of being more excited to win than you're scared to lose.
Yeah.
And like, go on.
Yeah, so like prior to this skill set, the way that I thought that I can pull a girl that is out of my league, the only possible way that I thought I could do that is to compensate with something else. So I thought, if I'm down here and she's up here in my eyes, then I need to compensate with money. Then I need to compensate with muscles. Then I need to compensate with social skills. Like, I thought that there was I had to have something material in order to bridge that gap. What cold approaches taught me is that is the bridge to that is bridging the gap. So that is closing things. That is equalizing the playing field. So basically your two options are: you subscribe to what I used to subscribe to. You subscribe to what Kristian used to think, which is you need to build everything else outside of yourself. You need to build up everything that makes you look fluffy, everything shiny. You need the fancy watch, you need the fancy car to make your little sense of self-worth inflated and therefore make you confident enough to go up to a girl. Or your second option is, instead of building all of the accessory things, you just are hyper-focused on building you. You're hyper-focused on building yourself as a person. And that makes it so that I can wear a $4 thrifted collared shirt. I can wear my cargo pants and my black Air Forces that I've had for 3 years now. And I can go up to the girl that the guy with the Porsche and the fancy suit and the $1 million in the bank cannot go up to. And he thought that he would be able to. He actually, what the guy actually thought is that by building everything on the auxiliaries of his life, that would make the girls come up to him. That's what I was subscribed to. I thought, well, if I'm jacked and I'm rich and I can show that I'm rich with my clothes and the brands and the stuff that I'm wearing on my wrist, then the girl will see that and be so wildly attracted to me that she will make her way over to me. And what I've realized is, even if that's the case, even if you're getting more looks, more choosing signals, there's still a portion of this that you're missing, which is making something happen. It really doesn't matter, unless you're Drake, unless you're someone who's just fucking hyper famous, the girl is not gonna go out of her way to come up to you. She might be 10 out of 10 attracted to you, but you still need to be able to bridge that gap. And so what I've learned is, instead of building everything else, I'm just gonna focus on myself. Screw the name brand clothes, screw the watch on my wrist, screw the fancy car. I drive a 1996 pickup truck and I'm pulling Instagram, like that is the point, right? It's like I'm focused on building myself as a person, and as a byproduct of being hyper-focused on me and my actual internal self-confidence, she can feel that. And I can do an act, which is approaching the girl that so few men can do, poor or rich. And that's the key. That's why we talk about it being an equalizer. Is the same guy that's chilling in the corner of the club with his fancy clothes and his fancy watch and his fancy car, he doesn't have this skill set here. And that is what equalizes the playing field for us.
Yeah, and this is not us giving you license to be lazy. It's us giving you permission to be free, because even once you have acquired a lot of the materialistic trophies, like, you still need to be able to actually deliver your value to the world. And I found that the higher you climb, like, I work with a lot of high achievers, like 6-7 figure entrepreneurs, and it's like, even though they've got all of those materialistic trappings, it's like you still need to be able to go over. And I find, like, a big part of game, like what I've realized most recently, is actually dumbing yourself down. Just reminding yourself to reconnect with that child inside. I think that's the key to getting these girls who you think are out of your league. It's like, it just humanizes everything again. Like, I think humanization is the key to getting these girls who you think, oh, she still needs to take a shit. She still needs to spend time with her family. She's still got her own insecurities and her own doubts. And I think, like, by you being real with yourself, knowing your shortcomings and being okay with it, I think, like, that's the key, like, actually being able to connect with these girls as human beings. And like, we both know, like, it's scary, you know, you're putting your balls on the line, you're going over. We're not saying that every single Instagram model is just going to fall deeply in love with you, yeah. But, like, I think you just give yourself the opportunity to try. Yeah. And, like, I don't know, I feel as though what we're saying here is going to change the lives of a lot of people. Like, if they actually understand it, yeah. We'd recommend that you listen to this live stream back a few times so we can, but, like, really, evidence does have the loudest voice. And, like, not just for myself, but, like, for you especially, like, you've been documenting your journey, you've got your YouTube channel, you're gonna put the Instagram model, like, approach, date, all that stuff. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I just feel as though this is really the key to getting what you want in life. It's like just understanding that as you are right now, like you're already worthy. You know,
you just have to prove that to yourself.
Right.
You already have what it takes. Your mind just doesn't know that yet, and I didn't know that either, and Kristian didn't know that either. We had to actually go out and prove to ourselves that we had what it takes. So you don't just get that, right? You're not just born and you're like, I have what it takes. No, you have to reveal that to yourself. And so I like what you said there. So it's kind of like your options are so if you build the accessory parts of your life, that's pretty much the same effort that you're putting into a skill like cold approach, but it's just extended over a period of 5 to 10 years. Whereas I worked with Kristian and I took all of that effort that I would have spent making money, buying nice clothes, extending these parts of my life. I took that 5 to 10 year period, I condensed it into 1 month, and I focused it on one skill set. So it's like that skill set right there, it was a lot harder to do. It was a lot more difficult to do because I'm, like you said, I'm putting my balls on the line. Like I'm doing something that is so socially unacceptable, at least that's what we're fed. And that's why the results are there, right? It's like the 5 to 10 year period that I would have spent getting jacked, getting rich, whatever, I just condensed that into one skill set and I put it elsewhere. I put my focus on cold approach, and that gives me the same result that this 5 to 10 year period would have given me, just in a lot shorter of a time. But the asterisk here is that it's a lot fucking harder, right? Like getting a high paying job and going to work your 9 to 5 over the course of 5 to 10 years, honestly, in my mind, that just sounds more difficult because that's a longer time. And like Kristian says, you pay with your time, you pay with your money. But that is an option, right? It just takes way longer. And then still, at the very end of that, you still have to develop the skill of actually going over. So like eventually you're still gonna have to develop this skill. It's just that if you're rich and you're jacked, it's gonna be a lot easier for you to develop it than if you're just little old Ephraim, 24 years old, no designer clothes, whatever. But if you're just hyper focused on this skill instead of all of that, and don't get me wrong, like I'm still planning on being that guy when I'm 30. I still plan on having tons of money. I'm still doing pretty well for myself at 24. But instead of stretching that shit out for 5 to 10 years, I decided that I just wanted to literally hyper focus my attention, my efforts on one skill set that would unlock what would have been unlocked in 10 years instead. So yeah, you put your effort wherever you choose to, but realize that one is going to be a lot harder, but because it's a lot harder, the benefits are a lot better. Cold approach.
Yeah, I think it's just like reminding ourselves as well, like everything that we're doing in our life is like it's to attract girls. And like, you know, you can be around the bush a lot. You can be like, you know, I'm gonna get the body, I'm gonna get the car, I'm gonna get the career, but it always comes back to this one thing, which is knowing how to actually deliver yourself to the women. Like, I don't know, I just like, whenever I go to venues or wherever I go to, I'm always like scanning the room. I'm like looking at these guys who like materialistically have got more than me, but like they still don't actually know how to deliver themselves because they've been brainwashed by the brain dead into believing that they just need to acquire, and then that acquisition provides access. But really the thing that provides access is your ability to communicate with the world, like actually being a guy who girls can have fun with. Like there was a guy who commented being like, do you think a nice car will get me girls? And I said, brother, it's the person who's driving the car. Yeah. It's not about the things that you have, it's about the person that you are. And like just understanding this, it's like it's just going to save you so much time. And I think an important thing to remind you as well is like, we're not saying don't go after these things. Like life is fun, life is a game. Like it's fun to build a better body, it's fun to have more money in the bank, it's fun to have a glittering career. Like do all of those things, but do them because you actually want to get them, not because you think it's going to get you women. Yeah. Really, all like girls don't care. This is what I've learned. Like girls don't care about like if you've got a six pack. Girls don't care how much money you're making. Girls, like they're not gonna like get you to bring up your bank balance on a date. They just care that you're spontaneous. That they care that you've got the assets which allow you to have fun, enjoy yourself. Like that's all they really care about. So I think like if you can project a fun lifestyle and you've got this carefree spirit, you can basically get any girl that you want. And I think like the guy who sat next to me is living proof of that. Like, you don't need to be a billionaire to have a billionaire lifestyle. You don't need to be a billionaire to get the girls who you think are out of your league. You just need to have a rational self-confidence in yourself. You just need to believe that whatever you set your mind to, you can achieve it. And I think it's like, it's all about the environment like that you're in. It's all about the people like you're surrounding yourself with. Like, if you're in a toxic environment, in a toxic city with toxic people who are like just like talking down to you, then that is gonna inflict on your overall belief in yourself. So I think just making sure that you are surrounding yourself with the right people at the right time who are just filling you up. I think just, I don't know, I just think that's an important thing in the modern day world.
Yeah, I agree. 40 minutes looks pretty good to me.
40 minutes, man. I feel like this has been our most popular live stream.
Yeah, it seems like it.
But yeah, no,
comments in.
I don't know. Let's see what people are saying.
Let's take a twist too, so they can see me.
Go on then. Nobody is out of your league. When you do Yay Game, you realize that the most beautiful girls usually are very kind. But how do I approach to a girl without being weird? I'm 15. Okay, hey guys, so what's the bottom and who's the top? I'm the bottom, he's the top.
What's up?
Fair one, what's your name? Say it, nice hair, bro. I'm not sure who he's talking about.
My name is Kanye.
Yeah, so this is usually why I don't allow the live chat. It's just funny people. But yeah, so listen, this has been how to approach girls who are out of your league. I think we've dropped a lot of sauce. I think we've dropped a lot of value that you boys can actually implement going forward. So yeah, recommend that you watch this live stream a couple of times, even before you go out to cold approach as well, just to fill you with that self-belief that you can actually achieve the things. Like, we're not special, we're just people who applied ourselves and now we're living the fruits of our labor. So yeah, is there anything that you want to finish on to the guys who are watching this and they just need that final hit of like motivation / confidence?
Hell yeah. Yeah, the final hit of confidence would be, if you haven't already, check out the videos that I am featured in Kristian's channel, because he posts my before pictures. So you can see what I used to look like, how I used to think about myself, and now you can come and watch this live stream and see what 9 months of difference makes. So truly, it doesn't, like all that matters is that you're willing to put in the reps. That's the only thing that makes me different from other people, is there genuinely is nothing intrinsically special about me. I'm just willing to put in the work. So as long as that's the case for you, then you are the kind of person that can build the skill set. Yeah, and the last thing I'd say is that if you have friends that are also interested in this space, interested in breaking through barriers, pushing past their fears, approaching women with you, then try your best to cling to those people and try to go out with them, because it's a lot more difficult to do this on your own than it is to do this with even just one other guy. Because you guys can bounce off of each other's energy. You can pool your energies into one source and then you can both pull from it. Whereas when you're alone, it's just you. Every blowout, you're alone. There's nobody to talk to about it. So yeah, and then if you find that you can't implement this skill set on your own, which is me, which is Kristian, which is most people, then do your best to find somebody that can teach it to you. And you don't have to actually go and physically meet that person. Maybe it's a YouTube channel. Maybe it's coaching videos, but yeah, just find somebody that can teach you the skill set, because for me, it turned what Kristian spent 3 years building into a 1 month process. I met Kristian April 2023, and by May 2023, I had the skill in my back pocket and I was implementing it where I live in San Francisco. So yeah, stay sexy, my friends.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think, yeah, there's a link below if you want to join us this year. The plan this year is basically just to conquer the world. I'm going to be in Bangkok in March, Buenos Aires in April, and then, yeah, for the rest of the year, who knows? But yeah, I think like out of all the people who create this type of content, like this is where it's at. So yeah, if you resonate with us, you like what we do, and you want to become part of this lifestyle, not just like get coaching off me, but you think, do you know what, I actually want community, I want network, I want to be able to have a VIP pass to travel the world with these guys, and yeah, there's a link below, click it, apply to join us. We'll have a free 30-minute consultation call, see if you're the right fit for the network, and if you are, then yeah, it's going to be a crazy year. So yeah, we really hope that you've enjoyed this live stream. We've enjoyed making it. Like I said, I'm doing a new live stream every single day for the rest of this year, which is quite a mean feat. But I just want to give you boys as much fucking value as possible, because I appreciate it can be difficult, you know, when you're first starting out. So yeah, just appreciate every single one of you. If you have enjoyed this live stream, then just drop it a like. It just tells us that you're enjoying the streams. You want to keep seeing the daily live streams. So yeah, drop the stream a like. We appreciate all of yous. I'll give you one final flourish of Ephraim's bedroom. How nice is that, man?
Yeah, this is where, for the guy who asked, this is where me and Kristian will be sleeping tonight.
That's where we're gonna be, man. That's where we're gonna be.
I'm bottom tonight though. We switch it up sometimes.
Yeah, we like to have the fun, man. We like to have the fun. But no, yeah, truly wishing you boys an outrageously successful week. Let's get it. Let's have a true Renaissance week. Go out there, treat the world like your playground. Don't die with your music still inside of you. We love yous, and we'll speak with you tomorrow. All right, stay sexy. Mwah!